Now for something completely different.
Smoke
medical
weed every day.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour represent Brian Hoppe and that's it. Listener discretion is advised.
Live from Tampa Bay, you are tuned in to Hoppe Hour.
He's the voice of a generation that got screwed by the baby boomers. Welcome back to Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour starts in 4, 3, 2, Hoppe. Hoppe, Hoppe. This is Hoppe Hour with Hoppe.
Joey Franchize from Wild 94.1 is hanging out on Hoppe Hour. What's going on, bro?
Hoppe, joy. What's up?
What's going on, man? I'm very pumped to have you on, and I want to get right into it. I one time heard you do some of the best radio I've ever heard.
Wow.
And I was driving back from Orlando, and I was able to get wild there the whole time. And I was buying a new car. It was an old school car. It was like 4 years old at the time, so it wasn't like a brand new car. But I bought a car that day. And this is whatever year Disney Plus came out, 2019, 2018.
Yeah.
And it was that November. And you were taking calls about the best shows on Disney Plus. And I'm telling you, I've never heard better hip hop radio. Like, everybody else talks about banging girls and everything. And then you're like, hey, what are you watching on Disney Plus? And I just thought that was cool as hell.
Well, thank you. Like, I always try to give this, the energy of, somebody that, I give off of a certain version of myself where people feel like, oh, that's the cool guy. Like, I like the way he dresses. He's guy probably bangs a lot of chicks. He probably does his thing, blah, blah, blah. But in all reality, dog, like, I'm a real, nerd.
How much of a nerd are you?
Very nerd. Like, damn, how do I explain? I have, I build Legos.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you build?
Like adult Legos, not like the kiddie Legos.
But what are you building with these Legos?
So I'm a huge Marvel guy.
Yeah.
Like, I love Marvel. So I'm out here building, Iron Man heads and just, propping them, in my little man cave kind of area. And, yeah. And I have toy collectibles.
So you're like a Marvel guy.
I'm a huge Marvel guy, and when it comes to DC, I'm a big Batman guy. So
when I met you at the Spider-Man screening, first of all, wasn't it crazy that movie theater closed 6 days later?
Bro, I said this. I said this. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah, say
I said this same. I said the same shit the other day. And I'm like, you know what? Good for them. I'm glad they closed. That was the worst movie experience I've ever had in my life.
What was so bad about it?
Just the fact that, it was fine because I've been to that theater before and I've never had an issue. And I think the part that pissed me off the most was the concessions.
Yes.
There was 2 people working it. And it took 5 hours to get a bowl of popcorn.
I knew something was up when the second floor was empty. That whole food area was bare, like it was going out of business.
Yeah, I knew something was up when they had literally had 2 people, and it was a struggle bus behind that counter. I couldn't even believe it.
So are you a guy, when you watch things, do you prefer watching it on your couch, or do you like the movie experience?
I love the movie experience. I'm OG when it comes like that. But it's got to be a certain... Now I'm pampered to the point where I have to, be in, AMC has this Dolby theater.
Yeah.
And it's like the sound is amazing. You feel your seat rumbling type shit.
Yes.
And you recline your seats. Bro, it's the best. To me, that's the only way I'm watching a movie.
Do you ever go to those fancy places where you can get the food and the wine?
Oh yeah. What's it? I go to Cine Bistro. Me and my girl do that a lot. We like going to Cine Bistro. It's a vibe.
Now, when you go to a movie, are you a guy, do you want to go by yourself, or do you bring your girl? Do you bring your boys?
If I'm not bringing my girl and none of my homies want, I have no problem going by myself.
You seem like a guy that likes going to movies by yourself. That's actually a really good vibe. For me, my version is watching a show at home by myself. There's nothing more peaceful than putting your feet up on the couch and just watching something and having no plans and no one to talk to.
I totally agree. And it's I like being in a place like going to the movies is my way of feeling tranquil, my way of decompressing.
Yeah.
Doing a lot, from doing clubs, being a dad and doing radio stuff and a bunch of other content that I'm dabbling with. I like going to watch a movie, sit down in the theater, have my popcorn. Always gotta have the popcorn, and there's no better popcorn than movie popcorn. I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
It never tastes the same when it's at home.
Especially when do you add a ton of butter?
Not a ton. I sprinkle a little bit of butter on the top, like little drizzle.
I'm a sociopath when it comes to popcorn. I'll just cover the whole thing with popcorn. I'll cover the whole thing with butter. My popcorn will be drenched in butter.
Nah, there's a little cheat code I learned is throwing hot sauce in it. I don't know if you're a hot sauce guy. I'm Latino, so I like hot sauce.
Yeah.
Throw some hot sauce on the popcorn?
Yeah. So throughout my 20s, I have loved going to nightclubs. I just think it's so much fun. I love getting laid. I love partying. I love hip hop music, but I've never worked at a nightclub. And you just said after the grind of working at nightclubs, you like going to movies, which implies that working at nightclubs can be sort of tiring. So what is the difference between working a nightclub event or working at a nightclub or attending a nightclub?
Wow, that's good. That's a good question. Going to a nightclub, at least from my point of view, when I'm going out to party, I like going where I know I'm gonna get the best experience. So,
yeah.
I have the luxury of being friends with a bunch of DJs within the Tampa area, so I always got a good idea of like my nights off. If me and my lady want to step out, like we got an idea where we want to go. We're probably gonna go check out DJ Cool. We'll go see like DJ Flacco. That type of shit. That's what we be on. Like Embert is a cool vibe I'm hearing too. So we kind of go there, and I tend to go to places where it's a different vibe than what I'm usually, DJing on the days I'm working. So I'll go somewhere different.
What's the difference of the vibe of when you're working and then the ones you attend?
I catch myself at times it's hard for me to relax. So it's really hard for me to relax, and it's hard to really give you an answer because I work so much that even on my days off, I'm like, that's why I tend to go to people that I know where I can like chill. Because if I go somewhere and maybe the vibe is not right, I'm out here like nitpicking stuff and I probably would have did this different. And I'm kind of critiquing the DJ in a sense, and I need to just relax, calm my mind, and just have a good time.
Do you have a hard time relaxing on days off?
Yes.
I cannot do it. I physically will end up making a reel for my podcast or doing some graphic. I don't think I've taken a full day off ever.
Neither do I. And I think I got that habit from my dad. My dad is a guy that never turned down a bag. He never turned down a job. We have a lawn irrigation business back in Connecticut together. So he runs it. And it's just one of those things where as a kid, I was working since I was like damn near 12.
Yeah.
So I always knew like, hey, if I work with dad and dad had so much like work going on, I'm going to get paid and I can buy sneakers, I can buy jerseys, I can do this and the third. Like that was like my whole thing as a kid. Yeah. So even now I think about, other things I could do. Like, damn, and it's funny because like I'll say, yeah, we can set up. I can do this gig. I'm doing this. Like I live a very calculated lifestyle.
Really?
So I'm always planning ahead and thinking like, yo, well, if I do this party, if I do this gig, I can save up for this vacation. And then I try to save up for all these vacations and never take one.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you end up using the money on or the time?
I always just like do something nice with like my kids. I'll buy I'm a huge sneakerhead. I'm a big sneakerhead. I love fitteds. I love drip. I love clothes. So a lot of that stuff goes to me. I'm always, getting stuff for my lady and, it's always stuff around the house.
What do you think about Champs? I go there occasionally.
Champs, I feel, to keep it G, I think Champs is solid for what it is. And I get what it is now. Like, it's not what it used to be, at least to me. I have a completely different, taste in shoes. I think Champs is good for, if you get Air Force Ones, you're trying to get, some Adidas Ultra Boosts or, something of that nature. Crocs.
Yeah.
I rock with Crocs. So I think it's good for what it is, and they know what their market is now. They are catering more so to the kids going back to school, like people just like the everyday person that's just, just kind of right here. And me, I'm over the top. So I gotta go with the more like exclusivity stuff. So I'll tend to phase out and go to for instance, there's a spot in Tampa called there's a consignment shop called Society. My boys run it. Shout out my boy Tarek. I'll go there because he'll always have like some wild stuff pulling up to the store. I'll also go to Social Status in Hyde Park. So I'm kind of in the cut. I'm more of the boutique guy. But Champs, for what it is, like, I appreciate and I dig it. Like, I go to Champs for my kid. Like, I definitely go to Champs to get my kid stuff.
I feel like Champs is for people that are under 21 because I haven't been there in 10, 12 years.
I agree. And that's exactly my point.
So when you go out to a club or a fancy date with your girl or a movie with your kids, how many different outfits? So you said you're very calculated when it comes to money. Are you calculated when it comes to outfits and what to wear?
Dog, I'm such a, like I told you, I'm a nerd, dog. Like this outfit I have on right now.
Yeah.
Like I laid it out on the bed like this.
Describe the outfit because this is audio.
So this is my dog Play Nice Studio, my boy Dante. We're actually collabing on a tee. I got it up on my IG at Joey Franchize. It's like a Catwoman and Joker. It's like a villain thing. Nerd shit. So this is a Poetic Justice. His thing, like, I'm a vintage guy. I love shopping vintage, like thrifting. You got spots like Curated Heat. You got spots like Full Court Classics that all specialize in flipping and selling vintage. So what this play is, it's called Play Nice Studio. It's a play on vintage, but it's called bootleg tees.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the tees that are in vintage that were back in, like, you know, they're selling from stuff that was back in like 95. Like a lot of those shirts are bootleg, but this is like not necessarily vintage. It's just a mock on vintage. They call it bootleg tees.
I felt old the other day. I don't know if it was real, but it was a meme, and it showed a museum and like a portable CD player radio was in the museum.
Oh yeah, dog.
I felt ancient.
Dog, I feel ancient, bro. You know what's even more ancient? Were you around for the? My mom used to get these shits. It was a catalog, of music. It was a CD, like you pick it. It was like a penny an album.
I personally didn't do that, but I remember it.
Yeah, I used to love like looking at those and picking out the albums I wanted, and I never got because my mom was like into like Gloria Gaynor. We had the Boomerang soundtrack off that shit, Lion King soundtrack. My mom is, she's a soundtrack queen.
I heard that company went out of business, and I wonder why.
Oh yeah, it seemed like a huge scam.
Yeah. It was dumb too, because like, weren't you paying like $1 for like all these CDs? Like, it was a ripoff for them.
It was.
They did not plan that out.
Yeah, it was really bad because it's like there's no way like these CDs at the time they were costing like $20, $25. There's no way I'm getting this shit for a penny.
Speaking of the 90s, you know what I did the other day? Grabbed my medical consumption, had some fun, was at home. And I was on YouTube, and my algorithm showed me an hour of commercials from the late 90s, early 2000s. And oh my God, there's hours of it on YouTube. It's funny. When I watched TV back in the day, I couldn't wait for the commercials to be over with. And now as a 29 going on 30-year-old in 5 weeks, I swear to God, I was like, why am I watching commercials from 25 years ago?
But I dig that because I'm the type to do shit like that as well.
It's fun.
I'll go down a rabbit hole of stuff like that.
I go down a rabbit hole of anything. There'll be like videos like, what happened to this Adult Swim cartoon? Or what happened, one that showed up was what happened to Kurt Cobain's or Roscoe Dash, and then you see all the bad deals they made, and it's fascinating.
It's very interesting. I do a lot of that with movies.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you watch, Netflix does a thing, and I hope they do another season of it because they've been like pretty consistent, but it's the movies that made us.
Yeah.
So basically like Home Alone, like for example, like they go in depth about like how the movie was made and how maybe it didn't get made and how they were going to use somebody else. Perfect example was they did one on Back to the Future, and it wasn't supposed to be Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly. It was supposed to be they mentioned him in the new Flash movie recently, but it was another actor that was supposed to be Marty McFly, and they literally like shot damn near the whole movie with this dude, and then when shit didn't go right with him, they went with Michael J. Fox and like just pretty much redid all the scenes that didn't need anybody else in them.
Do you watch Futurama?
Occasionally, yes.
You know Zach Brannigan, the annoying guy that yells a lot?
Yeah.
You know he was supposed to be Phil Hardman?
No, prior to
Billy West getting a yes.
Wow.
And then also, I believe Chris Farley was supposed to be Shrek. I don't know if that one's true. I'm pretty sure that's true because I see it everywhere online, and I think it would have been better with Chris Farley.
I ain't gonna cap that. Yeah, that would have been pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
But man, Phil Hartman is such an underrated actor, bro.
He was. I think my favorite Phil Hartman, and it's because I watch this movie every time Christmas comes around, was Jingle All the Way. So I think his character, is such a his character was like such an asshole, but he played it so well, bro. And I know it's like a kids like holiday movie, but I thought it was fucking awesome.
So are you from Hartford originally? Is that where you're from?
Born and raised, yes.
What got you into radio?
Wow. So I was going to college in Springfield in Mass, American International. And here's the funny story with that. Before going to college, I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And my sister, she's, very, motivated, goal-oriented, you name it. So she was
smart.
Very ridiculously smart. Like, I can't even compete or compare. But she gave me a swift kick in the ass one day and was like, bro, you need to figure out what you're going to do. And blah, blah, blah. You want to do all this music stuff, and you want to do radio, and you like TV, and you need to figure it out. You need to go and get a mentor, figure something out. So and that was like a week or two before a senior prom. And at my senior prom, there was a DJ from the local station over there, WZMX, Hot 937. His name was DJ Big Man. He does middays still. And he was DJing the prom. And I had my date with me and everything, and I just for some reason, I just saw him hanging out by like the little bar area, or like in the lounge, and I was like, let me just go up to this dude. And I'm a shy guy, believe it or not. So at the time, I was very shy.
Most radio guys are.
Yeah, I mean, we hide behind the the microphone. So I went up to him and I had a conversation with him. Long story short, he's like, hey, you try to get in the radio. I got this guy over in American International in Springfield. I'm like, I'm going to school there. And he was like, get the fuck out. And then we just connected since then, stayed in touch. And he connected me with that guy. His name's Mike Vezzi. He does radio out in Portland.
The Mike Vezzi.
Yeah.
He somehow found me on Twitter.
Yeah.
And every time I take a picture with you, he loves you, bro. Mike Vezzi.
Listen, I don't talk to him as much, and I suck because I'm terrible at just reconnecting with everybody. It's like, you got to text me because I'll be going a million miles an hour and forget. But Mike is my brother, bro, for life. We can be out of touch, but whenever he comments on something or we tweet each other about stuff, I feel like we don't lose a beat. So Mike was actually one of the guys who really groomed me to do this radio shit. And honestly, everything I know literally comes from Mike. Everything I know came from Mike. Mike got me my first internship. He got me my first radio show on college radio in American International. He helped get me my first internship at Hot 937 in WZMX in Hartford. So I owe a lot to him, and he came up under, and his mentor was Jenny Boom Boom, who ended up being my mentor, and then she groomed us to be, these good radio guys, these great radio guys. And honestly, man, I love Mike to death. That's my dog.
What was your first show like on air?
Ooh, damn. In college radio? I
would say college radio, and then your first real show.
I don't remember vividly how the college radio stuff, because we was just doing whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But getting on ZMX for the first time, the first show they gave me, this is funny. Shout out DJ Buck. He put me in to we had a specialty show on Sundays. It was a reggaeton show.
Yes.
They called it a reggaeton show with DJ Extreme. Shout out to him. He's on radio in Miami. It was him, Baby Girl, and DJ Bombero. And I didn't know a lick of Spanish like that. My Spanish is terrible. I'm Puerto Rican. And my Spanish, my girl calls me a coconut. So it's I'm terrible at, it's not that I'm terrible at speaking Spanish. It's just more the conjugations.
Can you listen to Maxima and know what's going on?
Yeah, I know what's going on. I know what you're saying to me. If you're talking shit to me in Spanish, I know what you're saying.
I feel that.
But I get shy speaking it because, especially out here, I know a lot, I got a lot of Dominican homies, and I work at, I do a brunch at Mama Juana, and they be talking fast Spanish.
Oh my God. I'm trying to learn, and sometimes when I'm at Maxima events, how fast everyone's talking, I'm like, how am I going to be able to keep up?
And it's funny, I feel like Dominicans talk mad fast. Puerto Ricans, we're depending on what you get the like, you know, the OGs, they talk pretty fast, but like people like my dad talks it real slow, my mom talks it slow. And that's where I can like kind of keep up is if you talking slow to me. If you talking all that crazy like the fast shit, I ain't gonna catch up.
How often are people in other languages talking shit about people that don't know what the language is saying?
Ooh, I've seen it happen.
I always wonder.
I've seen it happen. I can't recall the last time I seen it happen, but there's been times I've been in New York and I've seen like, you know, been a fly on the wall and seen somebody like talk shit about somebody in a whole nother language.
I think I've had it maybe happen to me twice, and you just kind of get the vibe, and you're like, whatever.
I kind of low-key be thinking my girl be talking shit about me in Bosnian. She's
Really?
Bosnian, and I feel like she be talking shit to me because she be talking to her mom a lot. And then maybe like one day, you know, you go through a relationship, you go through you go through a little argument or whatever like that, and you know, she just starts talking to her mom in Bosnian, and I'm just like, yo, you talking shit about me? She be like, huh? Because I can pick up some stuff now.
During an argument, do you get mad or do you shut down?
I shut down.
I used to get mad, and now I shut down.
You gotta poke the bear. Like my girl and my mom are like almost alike because they like to poke the bear. My mom is not aggressive like that, but she'll say things to the point where she's gonna get you pissed off, and that's what I was as a kid. And I feel like in my relationship, sometimes I'll see that if my girl's ever in a mood, and I usually shut down when that happens. You got to like really poke me and say something out of pocket for me to step out of line.
It's when it gets personal is when I get mad.
Yeah.
Anything else, I go, okay, this argument's going to end at some point.
Yeah.
But if you start talking about like radio or something I'm passionate about, I will get mad.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at too. I think, who was it? Like, I think me and my dad, and it's crazy because me and my dad never got into it. And I think it was early in the radio career when I was trying to figure it out, and really like pursuing full time. And, you know, I was sending demos in every place you can imagine on the planet. And, you know, he just said something that was just like, you need to give up this radio thing you got going on. Like, you know, when you want to get a job, like, and I looked at him like, bro, like, yo, you need to relax. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it got to that point, and then it's cool now because my dad's my biggest fan.
Yeah.
And he's like always listening to me because it's so dope. I didn't hate him for feeling like that because that's just you know, years of how he was brought up and ways of thinking, and you know, and it was like a domino effect up until I feel like, you know, our generation now, where, you know, it's cool to pursue things like podcasts and be on air, and now they see it succeed, that's when their whole mentality flips.
Yes. I had that happen to me about 15 years ago. I was in Los Angeles with my uncle, and there was a show out there called Kevin and Bean. They're no longer on air, but they were on air for like 30 years, and they were like legends. And we're in traffic going to Disneyland, and my mom's in the back seat, and she goes, well, Ken, you know Ryan actually someday wants to have a show like these guys. And my uncle turns to me and goes, don't do it. There's only one Kevin and Bean. And that moment, he ended up helping me pay for my radio school that I went to in Illinois. And one time I was sending him a text when I was really drunk, because when I drink, sometimes I'll reach out to my family and be like, I love you guys more than when I'm sober. And I told him that moment that you said that to me was the most motivating thing ever. And he's like, I didn't mean to say it, but I'm glad I motivated you.
And that's cool because I think that's the type of motivation that pushes me. That's my like that's the way I like to be motivated. Is you know, the way my sister did it, the way my father did it. Because
it hurts, and then you have a goal in your mind.
Yeah, I need to feel that. But it pushes me to kind of prove them wrong. And I have in a sense. I mean, they love me, I love them, and you know, and then they love what I do. And now they're like my biggest fans. They always cheer me on. They always want to see what's next, and you know, it feels good.
So speaking of them cheering you on, this might be breaking news to the world because it's not breaking news if you work at Beasley, but very soon you will be doing middays at Wild 94.1.
Yeah.
And right now you're doing fill-ins in afternoons. How excited are you? How excited are they? And overall, what's the excitement of all of this?
Man, I'm ecstatic. Like, this felt good. So, you know, it was part of it was a crazy, you know, few months. before coming back, just kind of rethinking my place and where I fit in this, in this whole grand scheme of things in radio, and really having that time to reflect and do other things and visit other stations. Because if you didn't know, like I was part of a cut. They did a cut across the board for night shows. So I was asked out, and it stung a bit, and just having the the powers that be, the Orlando Davises of the world, just in my corner still. It was a tough move, on their part, on the company's part. But they always kept me in mind, and Dom Theodore as well, like just always keeping me in mind and just giving me that hope, and we check in with each other. They check on how I was doing, and it gave me time to really explore other options. So I went to go visit Vegas. I went for a job in Cincinnati, in Columbus, Ohio. So, I feel like I was just kind of hitting a wall in a sense, because the Vegas thing was cool. I was offered the job, but I didn't take it just off of the strength, like moving my family all the way like across country with a baby girl who's now about to be 2. So for all that to happen and to get to this point now with middays, bro, it's just a breath of fresh air. I feel like I got my second win, and honestly, it's more motivation, because it's, bro, like the minute you're like, when you sit back and something like that happens where you're no longer there, it's like a piece of you is like kind of gone.
I feel that I've had that happen before. I left on my terms, but it's definitely a weird feeling where you start to not talk to as many people that are associated with it. And some people that may have been cloud chasers aren't like your friends anymore. And you go, man, were they with me for Joey Franchize or Ryan Hoppe, or were they with me for Joey and Ryan? You know what I'm saying?
I felt that too. I went dark. Like I went dark. I went in the cut. And then getting that phone call, and then to come back and even do some part-time stuff, and even do just DJing on the air, like it just felt good. Like I love radio. Like this is what I remember being on the school bus listening. I went from listening to listening to the morning show and afternoon show on the school bus in high school to actually working and being a producer on the afternoon show in Connecticut for Jenny Boom Boom, and then working the morning show with DJ Buck and Nancy Barrow eventually, and being a producer on the morning show.
So I'm from Chicago, and there's a lot of good radio that came from there, and I'm telling you, every single radio person that's around our age has the same concept of, if the person lived in Los Angeles, if the person lived in Hartford or Chicago, every single millennial has the same thing of they had their go-to morning and afternoon show that they listened to on the school bus. Everybody. If you're in radio and you're around our age, you have that memory.
Of course. And it's still one of my favorite, like I still have that memory imprinted in me, and telling myself, like, I want to work here one day. And I remember I was at a summer school, man, and I did summer school, and we did a competition to design like a logo thing for the station. It was like a big ass banner.
Yeah.
And it was for like, I think it was Destiny's Child and Nelly were doing their summer show for 937. And I, kidding, like freshman in high school. And, we designed this thing with a class. We got tickets to the show, and just seeing like the people that work there, and just the ambiance of the station just kind of taking over, this, as a amphitheater. And I think that was really solidified, like my mission to really get on this station. So from that to leaping here, and coming to Florida and doing, middays now, it's a dream come true. And like wanting to do day parts, I've been doing night shows. I've been doing night shows for like 6-7 years. So to be in the day now, it feels good too. I think what I enjoy most about it, outside of actually having the show, is just the fact that I can do other things within this realm, and I can focus on my doing some side stuff for Beasley, and really kind of put content together to help broaden the show.
What's the biggest change though from doing nighttime to radio during the day?
I think you have more. I think at nights is cool because I think what Nice really is built for in radio is to break new music. And I've always been like I'm a huge music guy. And I love the feeling of being the first to play it.
Oh, yeah.
So that was always cool with night shows. And, you know, Orlando and Brewster and the brain trust that is over there putting together a really cool playlist to really highlight that part of the night show and really help me bring, you know, that aspect of being the first to play it. You getting it at night, you only getting it with me feeling in that show was key.
Are you concerned about radio? I wasn't concerned until All Access died last week.
That's concerning.
That to me, and for people that don't know, All Access is like, how would you explain it? To me, what's the most concerning is the job opening page is on All Access. How would you, the people that are listening, that are listeners that don't know about radio, how would you describe how bad it feels that All Access is leaving?
It's the worst, man. That was my go-to. That was my go-to on everything.
Oh, man.
Always checking to see if there was jobs opening, especially, you know, in the young career, early in my career, just trying to, you know, find a full-time. Like, that was that way of figuring out, like, what was going on. That was, you know, the voice of, you know, for radio when it came to people in the business, and you knew what was going on.
I went there every single day. It's my most frequented thing on my iPhone, not just because of the job opening thing, just because I like to see what's going on. And for people that don't know, Joel Denver would a lot of times do write-ups for people when they did things in radio. My guy was Perry Michael Simon, who was also a consultant on there. And I have about 5 write-ups of me when Anthony Cumia from Opie and Anthony said he would never work with Opie again. There's been a few times I've had write-ups. And I've been thinking about what's the next thing I'm going to have a write-up about. And I was kind of like trying to manifest it the other day and think about it. And I'm like, when I have that next write-up, it's not going to be on All Access. And it kind of hurts a little bit because there are such proponents for all radio. Mm-hmm. They have so many articles in a day that you get to the email. And I really think this needs to be a wake-up call for radio to either incorporate podcasts more or something, because that is not a good sign. And everything else, radio companies laying people off, you go, okay, that's for right now because of the money. But when All Access, which is like the ESPN of radio, is leaving, bro, I'm concerned.
That concerned me when I saw the news. I think Orlando Davis said from the Freak Show said it's where he found me. Like, amongst other things that he was saying about All Access, he was like, you know, I found Joey Franchize through this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to do what we did at night, or continue what they, you know, the previous did, and then bringing me in from out of town, you know, like that really, that felt like something, you know what I mean? Like you found a gem through that. And I think there's so many other gems that could have came from that. It is very concerning because it just shows where kind of the business is going and leaning. You said a really interesting thing about podcasts. I think we should be focusing a little bit more on podcasts.
It's the only way radio is going to be alive, bro.
The way, bro. Because here's the thing. You tap into a lot of people that, you know, you ask them what's going on or what are you listening to. It's like, oh, I'll probably listen to podcasts or an audiobook. Over the music, over, you know, personalities.
I don't even want to say this, but I'll say it. At a promotions event recently, a kid was like, hey, could I get them to play a song? And I'm not going to say which format it was in the building, but they're like, can I get them to play this song? And I was like, you have to call in and maybe they'll play it on air. And he goes, but what if they don't play it on air? They play the same songs over and over again. I can just go to Spotify. And it was like this 5-year-old kid was trying to roast me. And I was like, dog, just go to Spotify.
Yeah. This is why I think it was so funny, because I feel like before PPM, we were having like conversations on there, like long conversations. We weren't having like the time to mapped out. Ugh, you got 10 seconds to speak type shit. I miss those days because I feel like it was a lot more engaging. I think what people want more, it's me personally, I think, you know, it could be different. Everybody's idea of what radio should be is always different. But for me personally, I'm speaking from my point, is I think we need to have those kind of conversations. I think people lean on these podcasts because they're having conversations about like real shit, like stuff that maybe you're going through, stuff that you probably been through, and people want to feel that, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to feeling that they have to call and, you know, for, you know, I think they prefer that over like the music requests, and we treat music as a star in radio. Now you're getting music from not podcasts, from streaming. You got Spotify, you got Apple Music, you get music everywhere. It's so accessible to people. Like the days of the exclusive that I was talking about, like those days are kind of like gone because you can get it anywhere. Like it used to be, you used to listen to, guys like a Funk Flex in New York, and he's just going to drop bombs on this thing.
Yeah.
But it's like now it's available to the world because of the internet.
So what are some of your big plans for middays?
My big plans for middays, I'm trying to really come up with some concepts now. Really creating I got a few segments in mind. I don't want to talk too much about because it's a list of things. But including that, also, really igniting also the mix show at 12. Obviously Kid Leo's doing that, so we're gonna get together and kind of piece that together as well. I definitely want, to feel fun. I want it to feel, I want the energy. The energy I brought at nights is the energy I want to bring to middays.
Yeah, you were going to talk about Disney Plus. Are you going to do that?
Probably not, because Disney Plus actually been fucking up today. I'm pretty mad, actually.
What did they do?
So I was trying to watch the Secret Invasion Marvel show that came out recently.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the TV and it just kept glitching. It was glitching and it just wouldn't load up. It was
I swear, I don't miss TV or cable, but sometimes when HBO Max, I'm going to always call it HBO Max.
Yeah.
Because when you say Max, you're like, what? When HBO Max keeps freezing, I go, there's sometimes I think I missed cable.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I feel that. I mean, I catch myself watching cable. Mostly I watch sports.
What do you watch?
Lately, I've been watching baseball, man. I haven't been a baseball fan I'm a baseball fan, but I'm not fanatic about it as I am for basketball and football. But it's the only thing that's on.
We might be the two NBA fans in Tampa radio.
Yeah.
There's no one else. I feel like when I see your posts, I can relate to it.
Yeah,
There's
we need
no
to
one
lean
else.
on that, man. We the last of the Mohicans out here with that.
There's nobody else.
Yeah.
And when it's on at the bar, don't you feel like it's just your game?
Yeah.
Because nobody else is into it.
Yeah, I think Tampa's more of it's a hockey town. It's a Buccaneer town. But even though I feel like the Buck fans, respectfully, are fair weather.
Oh, totally. You're going to see the true Bucks fans next year.
Oh yeah, I'm excited I'm excited to see this season because man, I feel like the crazy thing is I've been a Patriots fan my entire life. I moved here, I think they won a championship. They beat the Rams that year. I was here, and I was like the only Patriots fan. I was like, I think I watched it at AMSO with like a team. I had a whole bottle. It was like a day after my birthday. We went crazy, and then they won the Super Bowl. It was the best birthday ever, best birthday weekend ever. So to see how all the people looking at me with the crazy eye is like, oh fuck Tom Brady and and then it's like to see this guy come here about a year or two later. It's like, oh, now y'all Tom Brady fans. Now everybody want to be a Tom Brady fan.
I didn't like that.
I hated that.
I also didn't really like him coming back or everything. It's such a blur. Just the whole last year was annoying.
Yeah. I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. I love Tom Brady. Like, there's two people there's two athletes, celebrities I'll get starstruck to see. Tom Brady and Grant Hill.
Grant Hill?
Yeah.
Is that because you saw him in the 90s?
Yeah. I was a huge Grant Hill fan in the 90s.
Magic fan?
Detroit Pistons.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Laker fan now, but I followed Grant Hill's career like when he got to the league.
I was a Laker fan when Kobe was there because I felt like he was like watching another version of Jordan because I was a little too young for Jordan. I have Jordan memories. I am not a LeBron Lakers fan.
Yeah.
I'm not even a LeBron hater, but there's something about him in the Lakers uniform that doesn't make sense to me.
It didn't make sense in the beginning to me because it just looked weird. It looked like some shit out of 2K.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I got used to it. I was like, it's LeBron, so I'm not going to not cheer for this. But it was weird to see him in the jersey.
I'm going to be sad when he's not playing. As annoying as he can be, when he's not going to be here, I'm not saying Bronny's not going to be good, but there's a lot of pressure on Bronny.
Super, bro. There was never this pressure on Jordan's kids when they were playing league. One was at Illinois and the other was at UCF, something like that.
You're probably correct. That was also, I wonder if that would have happened if there was social media. Because they kind of got to go under the radar.
They did.
But now he's getting all the attention banging Larsa Pippen.
Yo, that's a wild situation. Did you see they go up to, I think TMZ went up to Jordan and was like, hey, how do you feel about your son, with Larsa? He's just like, I don't like it. Or he said something weird like that.
I think Marcus is actually in love with her, and I think she's doing it to piss off the world. She looks crazy, bro.
I mean, she's cut for that. She's cut from that. Like, respectfully, I don't know her like that. And Marcus Jordan, if you do listen to this, 'cause I know he's right up the street in Orlando. So it's like, I mean, I personally think, she's cut from that Kardashian club. So I think she knows what she's doing. They like stirring up stuff and stuff that is going to be, kind of make them more relevant. They date some, it's a shit show.
Yeah, me and Pharaoh talked about it on the podcast, and we just made fun of them. It's hilarious.
It's insane. I mean, I respect it. He's got a nice little situation up there with the trophy room, and that's actually a really nice store in Orlando. In the I think it's still in Disney Springs, but yeah, I feel like he's like mad low key, and she's just kind of like out there. But the crazy part.
What's the crazy part?
The crazy part was the fact that that like her son, her and Scottie Pippen's son,
yes, yeah,
is on the Lakers. And the Lakers earlier last season, in the middle of the season, traded for Malik Beasley, who she dated. How awkward is it that, you on the same team as the mans that smashed your moms? That's crazy. I couldn't be in the NBA, and it's crazy because I have a few NBA homies, and they tell me some wild stories at times about some people. Because once, like, we'll go out to dinner. I can't disclose which one I'm hanging with, but we did dinner with one guy. We did dinner with my homie. He used to play for UConn. I'll just say that. And we did dinner and we hung out. And my girl's with us too. And my girl's like a huge fan of Derrick Rose's wife. Okay. So, and her Derrick, I don't know if you ever seen her, but she's
Derrick Rose's wife.
Very pretty, very like dripped up. My girl's like, I look at her photos to learn. To peep like how she's dressing and get fits and stuff like that, and make a play on it and twist it and do my thing. And then she goes up to my boy because apparently they were on the same team together. She asked him like, "Oh, so how's Derrick Rose's girl? I forgot her name, but how's Derrick Rose's girl, Elena? Okay, so how's Elena in like real life? I know you've seen her and this. He's like, you don't want to know about her." I'm like, wait, she's like, but ain't they married? They're married though, right? He didn't want to disclose way too much. He said, I'll tell you another time, but we never got to that conversation. But she kept asking, and she's like, well, what's wrong? What's the tea? What's the tea? He's like, yo, I gotta listen, she ain't all she cut out to be. If you see all that, lovey-dovey stuff she be doing, she ain't all cut out to be. I'm like, oh, hey, yo.
Listen, I've been around a lot of radio names. Not in this building, but in other buildings. And some of the things you see, bro, when people are like, how's that marriage? You go, what marriage?
Yeah. It's crazy. And it be so, I'm very old school. Like, my parents have been married for almost 40 years. Yeah. And it's like, it's all I've ever known is just like the right way to like be in a relationship. I'm not perfect in a relationship. I got some, I'm kind of, I'm lackadaisical and I could do better in other realms, like washing dishes and shit.
Yeah, I got you.
But, I've came from that circle where all I've ever known was my parents be together. So that's my way of life, and the way I'm, raising kids and approaching relationships is the way like my parents did it. And when I hear stories about people doing like, fuck shit, whatever that is in their relationships, I'm just like, and they're married, and I'm just like, whoa, that's happening? That's crazy.
Speaking of fuck shit, I will never ever get, and I'm not a big Adam 22 fan at all. Like if I could say I'm the opposite of a fan, I am the opposite. But that interview with that girl from the Phoenix Suns.
Which one?
3 years ago, he interviewed her. And supposedly, like 7 of the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, yeah. The girls, yeah. I remember damn, I forgot their damn names. But yeah, I know you're talking about.
Dude, that was, you're like, man, they just needed a father to hug them.
Facts, bro. It's so crazy. Yo. I say that about a lot of things, man. It's just, I see a lot, DJing and, doing nightlife and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So... And just the way people move, and it's like, now you got, like, when you have a kid, it just makes you look at, I can't speak for everybody in nightlife, but at least for me, it just makes me look at everything different. And it's like, I never want my daughter to, like, act like this. Like, I never want to see this. This is insane.
Yeah, I definitely think about it as I've gotten older. when I was like 22, 23, 24 on Tinder and Bumble, I was like, yeah, hookups. And now I'm like, oh, the worst type was whenever the girl afterwards would be like, oh, I have to go home to my husband. And I was like, I just hooked up with a married chick?
Wow.
I had that happen 3-4 times and I went, no. Because I would not have done it.
Oh, bro. Listen. Prior to happy wife, happy life.
What's your body count?
Oh man, that's my body count. This is crazy, dog. I can't.
You can't disclose.
I can't disclose. I can't say. Let me just say, I have my fun, and I'm satisfied with the fun I've had.
Hell yeah.
I was satisfied with that, and I'm satisfied with the fun I'm having now with my lady. Like,
perfect answer.
That's it. Yeah, like we've been there. Like I know she's done her thing. She's done her thing. She knows I've done my thing. We're on point and intact with that. But we good.
I know in the next relationship I get into, because the previous ones, the girls were too open about what they did with other people, and I go, I don't need to know.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I'm talking to this girl right now, and we're trying to figure out what we are, and I told her I don't. It's don't ask, don't tell. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm on that same thing.
I don't need to know.
And me and my lady are on the same page when it comes to that. I really don't give a shit. Like here's the thing. Listen. Before me, my girl's actually like she hooked up with like some pretty like high level people.
And now she's like Joey Franchize.
And now she's with Joey Franchize, the highest of the highest. So I'm not even mad. I feel like I'm in good company. I guess I don't know.
Joey, where can people find your show and you on social media?
You can follow me on the gram, Twitter. Are we promoting Threads now? Like, what's going on?
Threads is the lamest fucking thing ever. It's a more successful Google Plus.
I'm giving it hope, though. I have high hopes for Threads.
I like Twitter. I'm a Twitter guy. Because what I don't like about Threads is that it's showing me people that I don't want to see, and it's showing me all my Facebook friends. My Twitter is very specific on who I follow.
I respect that. I like that. But Twitter's already seasoned.
Yeah.
It's been seasoned for years, and it's gotten, obviously better over the time. And Threads is just getting started. I think they're going to tweak a few things. Zuck is, a goddamn genius. So I think you're going to figure it out. But yeah, at Joey Franchize, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. You can catch me on Wild 94.1. You can download that Wild 94.1 app for free. In the App Store, wherever you cop your apps at, whether you got Android or iPhone, preferably iPhone, I hope. But yeah, I'll be on 10 to 3 starting this Monday, and yeah, I'm really excited, bro.
Well, bro, it's been a lot of fun having you on the show, and if you ever need help with any of your shows, hit me up.
Yo, same, bro. Hey, I'm glad you had me here. Hey, Hoppe, yeah. I'm really, I salute you on this podcast. I catch a lot of the clips on IG. Always, listen, you on top of it. Keep doing your thing, bro. It sounds great.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.